Hello everyone! Today I'm going to be talking about my arts and crafts goals for 2015. Okay, so I didn't know I said 2015 until I sat here and started editing this video, but just know that I mean 2025, not 2015. I don't know why I said that. That's hilarious to me. I think having set goals for anything you want to accomplish, whether it be big or small, puts like a firm grasp on what you want to accomplish and sets some blinders on you essentially, so you can really focus on what it is that you want to achieve. From what I can remember, I've only made mood boards here and there on what I want to make or goals of my knitting and crocheting, and I just would put it in the back burner because it wasn't really a set goal. It was just like, oh, it'd be nice to make that, but I'm not going to be mad if I didn't. I truly want to create pieces and do projects that I'm truly proud of, and turning them into actual goals helps me confirm them in my mind. I know that in my Everything I Made in 2024 video, I said I want to create a lot more this year, but I want to emphasize that I want to create more, but with intention. I don't want to create a whole bunch of projects that I'm going to use once and then throw in the closet for it to collect dust. I don't want to buy a whole bunch of yarn that I'm only going to use half of and the rest is going to go into the closet and collect dust. And giving myself a list of goals, I feel like will help me create with intention this year. These are all just goals and personal goals, and if something doesn't happen this year, maybe it's supposed to happen next year, that's perfectly fine. This is all in all just supposed to be a fun thing to do. I'm not gonna go crying like, oh, I didn't get to make a sweater that I wanted to make this year. Like it's not that deep for me. But at the same time, I don't want to think in that way, whether like, oh, I didn't make the sweater this year, or I can make it now, but I'd rather just watch TV. Like, no, I want to be determined, but also be okay with it not happening this year if other goals get in the way of that, if that makes sense. I basically just want to have a balance in between pushing forward towards my goals and, you know, being lenient when some things just don't happen. While I share these goals, I'm going to be working on this blanket. I'm making a blanket video. I don't know which one's going to come out first, this one or the blanket video, but if you see this and it did come out, then you know exactly what I'm working on. For my crochet category, one of my first goals is to actually learn new techniques and stitches. I mainly just use single, half double, double crochet, which totally works for me. Sometimes basic stitches and keeping it simple is the best, but I do want to like up my game a little bit and learn different stitches and interesting crochet techniques. I have this crochet book here that I can literally just open up, choose a stitch and learn it because there's just so many different options in here. And recently I've also been learning how to do corner to corner crochet with the help of Craftsy, which is the sponsor of today's video. Craftsy is an online community of creative, like-minded makers where members can find endless inspiration, advance their skills, and discover their new favorite hobby. Whether you're wanting to improve your knitting skills, learn how to bake anything you can think of, or even start your own garden, Craftsy has the right classes for you. Their classes fit any of your interests, and you're able to learn directly from experienced, award-winning instructors who share their professional techniques that will take your skills to the next level. I've personally been taking Mary Temple's class on corner to corner crochet, which I've been wanting to learn since I took the hard route in making my kuromi rug last year with a bunch of granny squares. I think making a corner to corner blanket with maybe an anime graph on it would be a wonderful project to work on with my newly learned technique, and I'm so grateful to Craftsy for having the perfect class for me to learn it. The first 1,000 of you to click the link in the description box or use the QR code on the screen will get a full year of premium membership to Craftsy for only $1.49, which is valid for new members only. Thank you again to Craftsy for sponsoring this video. So with all of my newly found techniques that I learn, I want to officially start making my own crochet book. I've mentioned this before, but I'm starting to visualize it a lot more now, and I feel like I should make this one of my goals for this year. I've been in the beginning stages of figuring it all out, and I was thinking of taking you guys on the process with me so that when I publish my crochet book, I can show you all the steps to doing so, and maybe one of you guys can do it too. Do I have a clue about what I'm doing exactly? No. Do I even know how to write a crochet pattern? No. Am I even sure I want to go through with this because it's actually incredibly scary? No. but I'll take the steps towards it because literally, why not? What else am I gonna do, you know? If it fails, then I can at least say, hey, at least I tried. At least I had the guts to get in the car. But yeah, a crochet book. I think that's probably the biggest goal of 2025 because it's such an extensive project and I've never published anything before. I need to learn how to correctly write a pattern that anyone can use. I want to make everything size inclusive. I want all of the projects and patterns to be cohesive, themed, and very pretty and unique. But that's all I'll say about it right now. I don't want to share too much just in case I'm like, I don't really want to make a crochet book anymore. But like I said earlier, like, why not try? You know, you never know where one thing will lead you. So just whatever you're thinking about, just do it. Don't do like crimes or anything. I was also planning on opening a shop this year. That was more of a goal for myself than the crochet book. But as I've been working on these blankets and just thinking about what I want to make for this channel, I kind of am pushing the shop idea to the back burner. Like, I would love to open a shop. I think that seems like it's very fun and something that would educate me a lot on business and everything. But the only thing that's holding me back is the fact that I would have to make a whole bunch of different projects, and just making projects for myself is a lot, and my hands, I feel like they're just getting weaker by the day. Like, I just started working on this and my hands are already hurting right now, and usually it hasn't been doing that since when I first started to crochet. And unfortunately, I think my time is running up on this craft just because my hands are they just can't take it as like they used to. So I don't think I can really open up a shop and make all of these pieces and then injure myself, which is not really, like, what's the point in injuring yourself, you know? Maybe I can start with a small collection and go from there, but it's kind of like the maybe type of goals, but I thought I should still add it to the list just in case. In terms of actual projects, I would love to recreate a lot of my pieces. I mentioned that in my 2024 video, but I think maybe recreating some pieces like my Marceline sweater. Although I did crochet it, I think I would probably knit it just because I would prefer it to be knitted. And I think the only reason I crocheted it first is because I didn't know how to knit, but now that I do, I think I can make a really nice knitted Marceline sweater. I know Mabel's sweater from Gravity Falls, that's also knitted, but I think I do want to recreate that as well. Maybe do one of her other sweaters because she has a lot of sweaters and I only did one idea from them. So maybe I can do that. I do want to recreate my Unif sweater that I made, or my Unif cardigan, sorry. Thankfully, I have all of the steps on how I made it written down and I have a video on it, so I can easily recreate it with smaller yarn and a smaller hook so that it's the exact size that I wanted it to be. So those are my 4 crochet goals: learn new techniques, publish a crochet book, possibly open up a shop, and recreate my recreations. For my knitting category, I also want to learn new techniques. I recently learned how to create a V-neck ribbing in this project that I was working on. If you can see right here, I've never done this before, but it's actually incredibly easy. You just do a right-leaning decrease and then a left-leaning decrease, and then you just keep doing that until the ribbing is to the size. This is actually for a recreation I was working on for, what's the movie called? Fantastic Mr. Fox, but I unfortunately am scrapping it because this just came out terrible, you guys. You're probably thinking like, oh, it looks fine, and it does, but this barely goes over my head, and this was supposed to be a sweater vest, but when I put it on, it looks like a t-shirt, and it just really upsetted me, so I'm not doing it anymore. Maybe I'll come back to it. And maybe I'll think of a different plan, but this was just upsetting and I was kind of annoyed. I just wasted all this yarn. So I'm gonna take it apart, wind up the yarn so I don't have to just throw this in the closet or anything, and maybe I can figure out something else with it. But even though this came out not how I wanted it to, I still learned throughout the mistakes and was able to learn how to make a V-neck ribbing, which came out looking professional to me. I don't know if it looks professional to you, but I learned something new and I want to continue learning new knitting techniques. One technique I do want to learn is drop stitches. I think that's really cool, and I'm curious on how exactly you do drop stitches without it messing up the whole project, and I'm sure I'd have to practice it, but maybe it is really easy to do. I don't know, I've never tried it. I also would like to get better at color changing. So these pants right here are some knitted pants I did last year. And I don't know if you'll be able to tell, but the parts where it changes colors, there's one side that's just kind of wider than all of the other stitches. If you can see right here, like you see how these are just all the same tension, but then this row right here, they're just a lot bigger. I don't want that happening when I work with color, which is why I've been doing more duplicate stitching than intarsia. There's just some times where I feel like even though the project would take longer to do, working the graph as you go will be nice, and sometimes I don't really want to do duplicate stitching. So I would like to get better at intarsia so that the tension is all even no matter how many times I'm changing the color, and I can have a nice balance between doing intarsia and doing duplicate stitching. I don't usually use patterns for knitting. I just kind of either figure it out, or if there's a specific stitch I'm trying to figure out how to do, or a technique like a tubular cast off, things like that, I would just go on YouTube. And this year I would like to do more projects based off of patterns. I want to support more creators by buying their patterns. I want to teach myself how to actually use a pattern and not be afraid when the patterns look like this, because sometimes I'm just like, you know, maybe I don't want to make this. I actually recently bought a pattern. It's for this shawl from the movie Little Women in 2019. I thought this was really cute. I've never really made a shawl or really saw the point in them. I don't know, I just feel like sometimes I'm like, I could just throw on a sweater. Why would I wear a shawl? But this does look really cute, and I bought the pattern, I bought the yarn. I was gonna do it for my recreation, but I don't know. I just felt pretty bad about that recreation, so I'm putting it away at the moment. But now's the time to learn new things, so maybe I'll start with that pattern. I'm pulling out my little laptop so I can talk about some other patterns that I found. So this scarf pattern here is so pretty to me, and I know I would wear this all the time. It's so gorgeous. I love all of the colors and the unique stitching, and I love scarves. Scarves, blankets, sweaters, the best ever to me for some reason. This pattern is right up my alley. Look how gorgeous this sweater is. This might end up being my second project after the Little Women shawl. The seller, it says the seller's on break right now, so hopefully they come back within the next 5 months so I can work on the sweater. I have no intention of making it anytime soon. Maybe I will, I don't know. Maybe I'll just be like, I want to make this celestial sweater, but we'll see. We will see. Yeah, there's a bunch of different vintage sweaters out there that I really love but can't buy myself unless miraculously someone posts it on like Depop or another reselling website. So I think it would be really cool to make either replicas of the ones that I genuinely can't buy, or make my own version inspired by them. Like all of the sweaters here that I'm showing on the screen, they're really cute. Some of them I can buy, some of them I recognize what brand they are, and the brand is still selling them and making them for everyone. So I can easily get those if I really want to. But the ones that aren't, I'm thinking of trying, like using them to inspire myself to make one for myself, like just for me to wear in my day-to-day life. I did this with the swirl sweater I made, and I really love how it came out. I loved the construction of it and how there's no ribbing whatsoever. It's just all stockinette stitch. I think until the collar, I can't remember how I did the collar, but the majority of the sweater is just stockinette stitch. And I really like how some of these vintage sweaters, they don't use a ribbing, and instead they replace the ribbing with maybe garter stitch or seed stitch, which is really unique, and I definitely want to try one of those techniques to make a sweater that I would love to wear every single day when it's possible. Creating zip-ups in both knitting and crochet would be really cool. I recently did a Granny Squares zip-up hoodie which came out nice and took away my fear of making crochet zip-ups, and now it's time for me to conquer that fear in knitting. I think a knitted zip-up would be really, really cute. I think the hardest thing about it is just figuring out the sizing exactly and making sure that it's like tall enough, but at the same time, when I think about it, it doesn't seem like it's gonna be that difficult. It's probably just gonna be the same way as crochet. You just meet the zipper up to the size of the hoodie and then knit around it, or no, not knit around it, but sew it on. I think it might be easier than I'm making it seem, you know? Oh, I need to learn how to knit socks. This is the year of knitting socks. I have to. Once I learn how to knit socks, I'm just gonna knit a whole bunch of socks for myself. Like I have to learn that. So for knitting, I want to use more written patterns, I want to learn more techniques, I want to knit some socks, and I want to recreate vintage sweaters that I can't buy anywhere else. Now, sewing is probably the category that will have the most projects just because I have no experience with it besides adding linings to bags. My first goal is to learn how to sew without fear of the machine. It's not gonna bite me, it's not gonna sever my arm, it's gonna allow me the ability to make my own clothes. So what exactly do I want to make? Pulling out the laptop again. I want to be able to make every skirt in these photos. These are my dream skirts. I've become a maxi skirt girl. A maxi, mini skirt, just skirts in general. I love them. I really do. I want to learn how to make these tote bags or these types of tote bags in any shape or size. These shoulder bags, I would be so happy to learn how to make. Cute shorts would be amazing, like a pair of gingham shorts for the summer. That would be so cute. I can already imagine myself wearing some. I can make scrunchies and quilts, and oh my gosh. For some reason, I have fallen in love with quilts. I don't know why, it just randomly happened, and I need to make a quilt. I feel like my first project might be the maxi skirt and then a quilt, because I was watching some videos on quilting and it looks so daunting, I'm not gonna lie, but I do want to try. I would love to have my own quilts. I love blankets so much, and I want to make quilted blankets, quilted jackets. Quilted jackets are so cute to me. They're so cute to me, and I don't know, I just love them for some reason. Hopefully this doesn't just go away, it's not a phase, but it's so cute to me. Making a quilt and maxi skirts are the only things that are motivating me to pick up the sewing machine, but I feel like after I do those and get the hang of it, I feel like I could fall in love with it and end up making like a ball gown or something. I've always been slightly interested in becoming a costume designer for films and TV shows, but I always threw it in the back burner because I don't know how to sew. So maybe that also can motivate me to pick up the machine, so that even though I have so much to learn, I have no experience whatsoever in the field, I can use that to motivate me into becoming a costume designer. But I know that probably getting into that field, you need to know a lot of people in the industry. Plus, I want to be a best-selling author. I want to open a yarn cafe. I want to be a fitness instructor, a music curator, and the owner of the finest animal sanctuary in the country. So I probably should figure out what exactly I want to do with my life before just committing to the whole costume designer thing. This category is for other arts and crafts goals that I have for 2025. I would like to get back into learning how to draw. I used to be consistent with learning before I started this channel, but ever since I started focusing mainly on knitting and crochet, I've put it on the back burner, and all of my sketchbooks are just collecting dust right now. So hopefully I can find some time and balance to learn how to draw again. And I know that if I learn how to draw, it would help me design things a lot better in terms of what I want to make, because right now my designs are kind of questionable, for being honest. I would love to start making clay accessories like fridge magnets, earrings, pendant necklaces, even small home decor for around the apartment. I think that would be really fun. Like I said earlier, I used to play with clay a lot, and I still have a whole bunch of air dry clay left on my art desk, but again, since I started this YouTube channel, I haven't really been focused on that. So I definitely want to do that more this year. Just a whole bunch of my small hobbies like journaling, ceramics, writing, drawing, I put them all in the back burner since starting this channel, and it makes me kind of sad because I really love doing those things, but I just always said like, oh, I don't have time to do that. I need to finish this crochet project and everything. So I really want to find that balance so I can do them all. And speaking of writing, I also want to do more writing. And I'm so serious, you guys. I want to be a best-selling author with maybe a trilogy and a short story collection under my belt. I've always wanted to be a published author since I was a little kid, and even though I haven't written since I started this YouTube channel, like if you can see there's a little trend going on, but before then I was writing every single day. I was outlining, I was making character profiles, and I have so many stories that I need to develop further. I don't know if any of them are book worthy, but there's one idea that I was working on. I just need to go through it again and see if I feel any sparks with it. But if not, then I'll just figure something else out. But I definitely want to bring back Writer Miha in 2025. And it doesn't even have to be me working on my novel or working on a huge writing project. It could just be me writing every single day, me journaling every single day, and using that to take steps to slowly build up to where I want to be. Like, I just want to write slow, but write nonetheless, and see where that takes me. There were a lot of goals in this little list of mine, and it seems like it's a bit excessive, which is a little bit wild because these are just my creative goals. I haven't even gotten to my fitness ones, my living goals, all that stuff. But I'm just the person that I just like a lot of things, and I want to do everything in my power to be able to do everything that I like, because I don't really like pushing something back and not focusing on that. It's a bit difficult to really have so many goals, but at the same time, I think doing things like hobby stacking really helps. Like, for example, I have a goal of becoming stronger and more fit, but I also want to read 50 to 100 books this year. So how can I do that and also work on like crochet projects? For example, I could, while I'm on the treadmill, I could bring my book physically to the gym with me, or I can listen to an audiobook while I work out. I also have a goal again to listen to 365 music albums this year. I can listen to the album while I crochet. I can listen to the audiobook while I can crochet. I could put my phone down. Can put my phone down and read instead of scrolling on my phone. Like, there's ways to slowly add in these hobbies and habits into my everyday life so that I'm not losing any time really, and like, oh man, I really want to be reading but I have to work. Like, I can kind of like mesh it into my schedule so that I'm achieving everything that I want, even if it's like completely personal goal. Like, me reading 100 books doesn't have to do with anybody, but it's just something that I really want to do, and just implementing that into my day-to-day life will make me really happy. I don't know where that went. I think as long as I have balance, determination, and discipline, I can achieve anything that I want to. You can achieve anything that you want to. It'll be hard, so incredibly hard, and you will fail and make mistakes and more mistakes and even more, and you'll get frustrated and you want to quit, but all you have to do is just push forward, just push a little bit more, just push just a tiny bit, just keep going, and you can achieve anything you want. With that said, thank you so much for watching this video. I'm always grateful for your support and your time. Thank you again to Craftsy for sponsoring this video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!